Hello, it's Uncommon Fossil here, and I have a new deck to show you today. It's an Rider VMAX deck, and that's really the third competitive deck I was able to put together. And that, as a brand new account and live, without migrating, within 2 weeks, this is the deck I could put together, and you can too. And it's a very solid deck. The deck begins with, in the shop, you can purchase the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX League Battle Deck for 1,250 crystals, and you'll get that within 2 weeks. You should be able to do that. And then within that, Ice Rider VMAX is a very good Pokemon. We'll see that in action shortly. But you get a 3/3 line, which is all you need. You already have a 1/1 line within the Suicune V deck, but with a 1/1 line doesn't get you very far. And then you also pick up what you need, another Sword and Shield Inteleon. You get 2 of those. So those are really the Pokemon you need. You're also going to pick up, it's going to cost you $12.50 in crystals, but you're going to get 560 credits back. Those are the third currency, the one you use to exchange for cards, because you need to pick up a couple cards. You need to get a Leon, a Roxanne, and a Scoop Up Net. Those 3 cards cost me 625 credits. But I got 560 when I purchased this deck. So it cost less than 100 credits, and I certainly had that many, and you should also. So just take a look at the deck. Again, there's no way to see the deck in full on the computer, which is what I'm using. Actually, on the mobile, you actually can view your deck in its entirety on the phone. I don't know why they let you do it on the small screen of the phone, but not on the computer. Hopefully they get that resolved soon. But walking through Ice Rider V, a fine Pokemon, but it really is, the VMAX is what you want. It's got 320 HP, so it's fairly tanky there. And you primarily using the max Lance attack for 2 energy, which you can do up to 250 damage. You have to discard 2 energy to do that, but it's a very good attack. You can do some pinging with your Inteleons. I play 2 of the Chilling Rain Inteleons. Also, you can get Choice Belt. The deck also plays Leon to get an extra 30 damage. So it's got that. It's got the Drizzile engine, so it works pretty well at setting up. You only need basic energy, just water energy. 8's not a high number, but I also play 2 Capacious Buckets to get some energy into hand, and you're getting energy back using Melony, a key card. I play 4 of that because that just keeps the deck going. You're discarding energy every attack, so you got to put 1 energy back on with Melony, attach a second one by hand, and usually that's able to be done. Cards, as I said, 1 Raihan, which it was a card I already had. That's a very nice card. If your Pokemon's knocked out, it allows you to attach an energy to it from the discard and search for any 1 card from your deck and put it in hand. So a very good card, because the Sword and Shield Inteleon is a good attacker in certain situations, and this is really the primary way you set it up. I crafted, as I said, 1 Leon. It lets your Pokemon do 30 more damage a turn, so therefore you can one-shot another VMAX card with it. Or also with so many Lugia matchups with the V-Guard energy, you might need to get a little more damage onto it. So that's a useful card. Now it uses just supporter for turns, so you can't Melony, so you have to manage when you do that. Roxanne, which is a nice comeback card. Your opponent has to take at least 3 prizes, but then each shuffle your hand into your deck. You get to draw 6 cards. Your opponent only draws 2 cards, so it really sets your opponent back. With the Drizzile engine, you can usually get it when you need it. And it plays Path, because I have Ice Riders, the only VMAX, only V card I play, and it doesn't have an ability. So shutting down your opponent's abilities is very important. So it's a good deck. I like the deck because it generally sets up pretty well. So let's jump on in the ranked ladder and see how things go. Occasionally, the deck will struggle a little bit to set up, which is a problem with many decks. It depends whether you go first or second, whether you want to start an Ice Rider or a Sobble. So you have to pay attention to that, especially in live, because it only shows up briefly at the beginning, and if you miss it, there's no way to check on it yet. I assume they'll fix that down the road, hopefully while it's still in beta. So a coin toss, I won. I'm going to go first, which you usually want to do. In this case, I will hopefully get to start an Ice Rider V because it shouldn't get knocked out. That's decent, although I don't have any Sobbles now, which aren't great. So I might be in a tough spot next turn. You really need to get down a V and a Sobble your first turn to set up. Waiting for my opponent to play something. I'll see what I top deck. All right, so Blissey Miltank, or Blissey Miltank, which is a reasonable deck. That's not a great card, although I can attack next turn, and I will. I'll attach Choice Belt. Why don't I do that? Because I'm gonna. Well, I might want that. If they attach Cape, I'll want that. Although I still can't one-shot them, so I'll have to kind of see what happens. So they're playing Path also. We're both are adept Vs without abilities. They could play a Greninja in their deck. Sometimes they do. Now they've lost that ability. So they did 60. They weren't able to accelerate energy to it, so that's not terrible. I actually now have the knockout of the Blissey, so I'm pretty sure that's the play here. I would have liked to get another card into play, another basic down, but they're going to probably start attacking with the Miltank. It's not going to do much damage to me. So I have the one shot here. I attack, I discard both energy. Unless I get a Melony next turn, I can't attack, and I can't do any damage to the Miltank anyway, so attacking with my Ice Riders, not the priority at this point. It's really starting to get some Pokemon on the bench. At Level Ball, so I can get a Sobble down, I'm going to need to attack with the Sobble. I can one-shot the Miltank as long as it does not have... as long as it doesn't have a Cape of Toughness on it. I don't think I want to research this turn. Now, one thing the deck doesn't have with my current build, it has no switch cards. I'm thinking I might need to add at least one switch card in. So I will just attach and end my turn. If they throw down another Blissey, I can Drizzile for Boss, which I play 2 Boss in the deck, get the knockout. The deck does not play Serena, it just plays Boss because I think that's the right call. This is an old list for the deck. I'm still trying to figure out the exact counts of things, but it's pretty good what I have, I do think. I'm not really sure what changes I'd make. So they have 2 powerful, so they do some decent damage there. What do I want to do? I'll Drizzile. Do I have... And I think I will Melony. That will help me get energy on. I need 2 energies to retreat. And then hopefully I get... Okay, the Sword and Shield Inteleon. That's what I want to knock out their Miltank. So I have that for next turn, the potential knockout. So I will just end turn. I'll let him... I don't want him knocking out my Drizzile. If they have Boss, that may be what they'll attack. Although at this point they don't have knockout still. I think one more powerful energy, and they would, though. It does 30. It's doing... All right, so I believe I have game now. And so this game went very smoothly. I should be able to get Bucket if I... actually, even if I don't have Bucket, I could probably research. But Bucket, and I'll grab a Quick Ball, although I don't need the Quick Ball. Just Bucket, retreat, knockout is it. They have 110, nothing to buff to protect them. So he does 120. I will retreat, send up, and they concede. So there's one way to win. It wasn't a great start for me, but it is a pretty good matchup all in all, because the Ice Rider can hit into the Blissey's the Blissey V's pretty effectively, and So and the Inteleons are very efficient at handling the Miltanks. If they got a cape on either of their Pokemon, I could not have one-shot the Blissey with a cape that turn, and I wouldn't have been able to one-shot the Miltank, although I would have knocked it out the next turn, and then depending on the pinging Inteleons, that will speed up the process for those things. So we'll see what my next matchup is, and we'll get to see the deck a little more. So a Mew box. Might be Mew, might not be Mew. Have no way of knowing. We'll find out. Mew is a tough matchup for Ice Rider. There hasn't been a ton of Mew, so it's been okay, but one-shotting a Mew is not easy. All right, so I'm first. I would have preferred to get down an Ice Rider in the active, but this is okay. And if actually against Mew with Meloetta, they can potentially not one-shot the Ice Rider V on turn 1. So starting Sobble might be the best play anyway. So I am up against Mew. The problem is I can't get a... So what do I want to do here? I'm going to want to... I'll attach to him, and then I'm done. So not a great turn 1. I was trying to decide which Sobble to attach the energy to. There's a good chance they're going to knock me out. Getting energy in the discard is not a bad thing, though, because it gives me the potential to Melony onto an Ice Rider next turn. I'm not sure. It may just be the double turbo build, which is more common now, in which case it's going to be hard. They can't... they're not going to be able to attack this turn, that I don't believe. All right, so they're gusting me up. Oh, no, they just discarded it. So that's fine, too. They're Marnieing me. I had a decent cards, but there's a good chance I'll be fine with it. I get Marnied into. Now, I got Marnied into a bad hand. I expected to get a better hand than that, but that's the way it goes. I'll see what their Cram-O-Matic does. They got heads. Path will shut them down, so Cram-O-Matic's one of the ways they can certainly bump Path with their own stadium. So getting rid of a Cram-O-Matic before I get my Path into play, I don't mind that. We'll see what happens. As I said, Mew's not a great matchup, and it's not been a great turn 1 for me. They're doing a lot. We will see. They have the Oricorio, so 2 things to keep in mind. One, it reduces damage by 20 to all their Pokemon, which certainly helps them. And then their attack is 5 damage counters any way they want. So get rid of the energy because I want energy in the discard. And I really want to hold the other cards. Lay down the Ice Rider. Play my bucket. Get 2 energy. Take a look at my cards here. I will throw the 2 Sobbles onto the bench. We'll see what happens. It's not a very strong turn 2 either, I gotta say. I'm really hoping. There's a decent chance they're going to knock out my Ice Rider, in which case I'll probably concede at that point because then I've probably, my chances of coming back are very, very slim. We'll see what happens here. So they're playing a Path. Are they playing Path just so they can get rid of it? I think so. The good news for me is they used a Lost Vacuum, so they've lost another card, card that they can bump Path with. So if I can get Path down next turn, I'm in decent shape. They can't boss me now, but they do play Cross Switcher. If they get 2 Cross Switchers, they'll probably use that to knock out my Ice Rider. I don't think they're going to do that now because now they have... Then if they're going to gust up my Ice Rider, I think they would have evolved the Mew on the bench because Cross Switcher switches 2 Pokemon. I guess they haven't used the retreat yet, though, so I guess that wouldn't have mattered. They flip another heads, so hopefully get the heads out of the way before I get down my path to the peak, because hopefully that'll stick for a while. As I said, I really need my Ice Rider to work for me. Let's think. I can't knock them out. I don't think there's any way I can with the Oricorio there. So I don't need to worry about trying to get a Leon into play. All right, I have a water energy in the discard. Now I have 2 that the Sobble's knocked out. That's not the Sobble being knocked out. That's not terrible. If they knocked out my Ice Rider, that really would have been bad. So they probably can't one-shot my Ice Rider. So I will play Melony first. Yeah, with the 20 reduction, I can't knock them out. See what cards I hit into. Evolve. I think I'm going to keep the energy on the Pokemon this turn, actually, because let's think here. I haven't attached per turn either. So I need to get another V down. I have Quick Ball. I could discard the energy, so I wouldn't mind getting a Bucket, I think, because I need a card to discard with a Quick Ball. I want to keep the Melody and the Choice Belt, so I'll play the Bucket. How much energy do I have in deck? I have 4 at this point. That's okay. Discard. I don't have, my ability, my Pokemon to evolve right now are limited. What I have in hand, 2 Drizziles, and then the 2/2 Inteleon still. I have Incense, and I have a decent amount of Pokemon Search cards. I don't play Ultra Ball in the deck because I don't want to discard that many cards. I mean, that's just the simple logic behind it. So you almost always grab 2 energy with the Bucket, attach 1 to Ice Rider to get him ready for next turn. I'll attach to him. He will do 170 and keep his energy on, I think is the right play at this point. Just do that. So I can attack with Ice Rider next turn. They won't knock me out. Now he can put the Ice Rider back in the deck. That's an unfortunate fact for me. It's a tricky game. It's a tricky matchup, as I said. Well, that's great. So now, is that all of their... So they're out of Lost Vacuums. They played... Let's see. I don't know what they play for other stadiums. So they're going to knock out my Ice Rider. That's okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. They're going to get down to 3 prizes, which does mean if they knock out my VMAX, I lose the game. That's not great for me, but there's not much I can do. I don't believe they don't play Fusion Strike Energy, so they can't probably attack. They don't have the ability to attack with Genesect, so that's a plus for me because I am weak to the Metal Pokemon. So that's a very good card there. What do I want to do here? I think I want to... Right now my damage is 260, so I can't knock them out. Get him into play. I might want to attack with him next turn, right? So I draw 2 cards. I'll want to... I need to get a Drizzile into play, I think. And I think I'll knock out the guy on the bench. That kind of puts me in a decent place, I think. Yeah, I think so. What do I have for nets? I have 3 nets, all my nets there still. That's good too. So I will boss up the other Mew. I get 3 prizes. I'm not sure that's the right play, but I do need to start getting prizes. I'm going to get a Drizzile. I think I get a net down. I might want to attack with Inteleon next turn, though, as an option. No, I probably can't do that. I'm in trouble, I think. So I probably need to put all right, so I'll net, and then I can throw down a path. Maybe that will give me a little bit of life. Not loving my situation still. So do they have the ability to bump path? I'm not sure what they have left at this point. So that would be nice if I can get this to stick. It might be too late in the game for me still, though. So I think I'm going to... I'll attach. I'm going to throw down the Choice Belt also on him. And what's the... He's at he's just at 140, so I only need to get rid of one energy, right? Oh, actually, I can just play Ride the High King, and I have the knockout, so that's good. So I kept my energy on, so that's a plus. Again, the first attack is useful on Ice Rider. At times it's easy. I can forget about it because start relying on the second attack to do 250 on a regular basis. But 10 plus 30 per bench Pokemon adds up, right? When people play full benches. Am I going to lose next turn? Probably. I do have the ability to retreat this turn. And then it's going to be a question of, can they boss me up for game? And I'm not sure. So we will see. What have they played? Let's see. They used one Serena. I'm sure they have more. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to have to retreat this turn. Do I want a Melony? I think I do. I think I'm Melony. Oh, I do have Roxanne. That might be the play, actually. Roxanne. So let me see what trainers I have. Do I have Bucket? I think I've used up my Bucket. So I'm down to 2 energies in my deck. So I'm going to, what do I want to get? I'll snag the Leon, and I will get what's the Pokemon situation? I'm not sure about the other one. So do I want to, I think I'm going to Roxanne though, right? So just going to Roxanne and see what I draw into. It didn't really... Okay, so I get another Drizzile. I don't have the ability to attack, though. That's not great. I didn't hit energy. I'm going to retreat, and I'm going to send him up because I have Level Ball. I could net this turn, actually. So let me do that. I'll do that, and end turn. So boss, they win. I got myself in an awkward spot there. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the optimal play. I needed to attack, so they couldn't attack. So that's definitely a plus for me. So now I need to do something to get myself out of this hole I'm in. So I'm going to Melony, because I do want to attack with him before the game is done. I'm still not getting energy. That's a problem. Definitely is. So Drizzile. Let's see what I have. A net. Want this net. Is there anything else I need this turn? I don't think so. So I will net again. Throw up the Sobble. I could bench. Another Inteleon V, Ice Rider V. So what do I want to do? I'll get rid of the research. I'm not sure research or Marnie, which I want. Attacking with this other Ice Rider down the road might actually be the better play, and I end turn. Because most of my energy is in the discard. I have what I have two more Melonies. Oh, they have game. So, oh well. That's the way that goes. So, I knew it was getting close there. So, good game by an opponent. I would like to give a gesture that indicates that they played well, although I'm not sure what can, what would not be taken sarcastically, so I didn't do it there. Let's hop in for one more quick game, see how the deck works. As I said, Mew is not a great matchup. I'm starting to see more Mew, and that's going to make it tough for this deck. The Blissey Miltank, you saw it could handle that pretty well. And then I'm working on the Lugia matchup. There's a lot of Lugia, obviously. Getting through the Lugias at the 280, you can hit 280 in a turn pretty easily with the two energies to discard and a choice belt. The difficulty is though when they attach a V-Guard energy that reduces by 30, so then you either have to play a Leon, but that means you can't have used Melony that turn, or you have to ping twice with Inteleon. Sometimes I ping once, leave them with 10 HP, hoping they don't Sharon's Care, which generally they don't, and then I can begin my next turn by a ping and knock them out. So I had to take a mulligan, and it's only 8 starting Pokemon, so that's fine. Put out the Sobble, and we'll see how things go. And we'll see what they're playing. Fire. An Entei. Which Entei is this, by the way? Does 10 damage for each damage counter on all of your benched single strike. So that's an interesting card. They are weak to me. Starting Sobble is good. The problem is I really want to get down an Ice Rider. So I kind of need to top deck that. So, all right. Duraludon V. All right. We'll see how this goes. I'm not exactly sure what they're playing. Not exactly sure how it's going to go. But it's a single strike based deck. So, interesting. I really would like to get an Ice Rider V down as quickly as possible. There's a good chance right now I won't be able to get it down. I need to top deck something that'll help me get it. So we'll see. See what I draw into. Otherwise, I will just be use Keep Calling to fill my bench with Sobbles. Which I do have Melony, which allows me to use that to accelerate to a V the next turn, most likely. But it's only in the V form, not the VMAX form, so I probably can't attack with it. All right, so a Diancie, which has the Princess Curtain ability, so I can't boss up or Serena up one of their Pokemon on the bench. So we will see how it goes. That's quite nice. Quick Ball, that's a great card because now I can discard an Water Energy, throw down an Ice Rider. Let's just take a quick look here. All right, things are looking solid as I go through. Okay, so I will throw down the Ice Rider. I get to Melony this turn, so that's quite nice. Hopefully they don't knock out my Ice Rider V next turn. That would be unfortunate, but got into Accelerate Energy. That was a good turn. So I'm happy as long as they don't boss up my Ice Rider and knock it out. that will be unfortunate. I have access to Melony next turn, Duraludon, which has the ability, which is the Skyscraper ability, which prevents damage from Pokemon with special energy. I don't play special energy, so I don't have to worry about that. We will two-shot each other, basically, so it's kind of an even trade there. Now, they don't discard their energy while I do, so we'll see. They have 2 energy on the Spiral energy. I do believe, I haven't seen that in a while, or Impact energy. It provides every type of energy, so that's fine. Can't be poisoned. That doesn't matter, certainly not in this matchup, but let's see what happens here. So I want to, I'll save that. I think I'm going to retreat and then make the Ice Rider active, and that will let me play my Melony. The bad part is they're going to get to hit into my VMAX before I hit into their VMAX. That part's not ideal, but I think I don't need to discard energy, so that's a plus also. So I will Level Ball. Because partly I want to get these guys going here. So what do I want to get with that? That's a good question. But I want to be able to get to an Inteleon at some point, either to attack with the Inteleon or to ping with the Inteleon. That's a very useful thing. So I might want to get... Actually, what do I want to get a Choice Belt, because that's going to be important for me to one-shot, to be able to, well, I still can't one-shot a Duraludon, but it gets, actually, I could potentially one-shot a Duraludon. That would be, if I can do that, then I'm in very good shape. So I believe I one-shot him. What's my damage? 130 with the first attack. So what do I do here? I don't... So do I want to... I think I want to get another V down. It might be a mistake, but we'll see what happens. So I need a Quick Ball then. Yeah. I can't be out of Quick Balls. So I don't think I'm going to need Path necessarily. So I'm going to get rid of Path. If it's a mistake, I've made mistakes before. That's my last V. I have one more VMAX in there. I will fill up my bench. Having more Sobbles is good, hopefully. And I will throw down an energy on the V, getting him ready to go. And I do the first attack. Now, the downside to throwing out the Ice Rider V is I'm giving my opponent the opportunity to one-shot a V, but I'm in a position to follow up by, I believe, a knockout of their VMAX. So getting that will put me in a good position. So I do 250, 60, 70, 280 with the Choice Belt. 280 gets to 300 with a ping and a Leon. So I need Choice Belt, Leon, ping in order to knock them out. But they're even tankier than I am. And they concede. So I was in a good position there. So I went 2-1 with the deck in this video. And I think the deck performed pretty well. It's also, I'm at least trading even with Lugia V, maybe even favored slightly. So it's a good deck. I really think it is a legitimate deck. You have to use your crystals to get it. If you do it soon, I think getting back to, you need to get to the 600 crystals before the Battle Pass resets, but as of now, there's 6 weeks. So I think as long as you have at least 4 weeks to go, getting to 600 crystals will be fine. So you spend your 1,250 crystals to buy the Ice Rider deck in the shop and craft a Leon, Roxanne and what was the other one? And 1 Scoop Up Net, and you're good to go. You need less than 100 credits for that. So I'll include the deck list in it. Any comments or thoughts you have, just put it in the comments below, and try out the deck. I think you'll find you'll like it. Take care.